So here I go, here I go again. What's my weakness, man? I'm doing Sunday Funday ranting time. As you guys know, or I don't want to say you guys, like you guys, but whoever watches me and all of that jazz, you know that I do my rant Sunday Fundays and stuff. I'm here having a little brewski. And I want to speak about my day today, my evening today, and my night today. So here I go. I guess the title's gonna be crime scene cleanup slash funeral director assistant. I do both jobs. I work at a funeral parlor, and I do crime scene cleanup. Now, crime scene cleanup, it doesn't have to be a crime scene. I do suicides. I do natural deaths. I clean up after death is what I do. But my title is crime scene cleanup technician and stuff. So I just came back from Classic Tavern. I went to Classic Tavern. It's Sunday fun day. But today I double shift. I did a double shift. I didn't know I was going to end up doing what I had to do after my first shift. I work at the funeral parlor, and we had a service. You know, we did the service. And as I'm cleaning up at the end of the night, the funeral parlor, it just so happened that I got a call from my funeral director. He calls me and he says, hey, we have a client that unfortunately passed away, and they needed you to do a cleanup. You know, if you can do a cleanup. Okay. Give me the information. Tell me what's up, whatever. He gives me the number to the person to contact. So I contact the person. As I'm doing the funeral, cleanup, whatever I have to do at the end of the night. And I call the person, and unfortunately it was an unfortunate thing that happened. The person bled out to death. They bled out on dialysis. And this is my second time doing a dialysis death where they bleed out. I don't know what happens, whatever, but I guess whatever they're connected to, and I don't know what happens. I did one a couple of years ago, a lady who unfortunately was on dialysis and with her machines in the living room, and something happened, I guess it slipped out, and she bled to death in the living room. And this man happened to do the same thing, but in his restroom. Now, when I spoke to the person in charge, I go, how long has it been? How long has it been? Because I don't do, like, I'm very picky now. After doing this for, like, since 2016, I'm very picky. If you're left, if you've seen my other videos before, if you've been left there for over 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, the decomp, I can't do it no more. I just can't. I can't. Give me blood. Give me anything. Just don't give me that decomp. You know what I'm saying? 2 days I'll tolerate, but 3, 4, 5, no, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I'm losing a lot of money doing that. I've lost already the other last, I think, 3 to 4 calls. I've lost thousands of dollars not cleaning up that situation. I'm a one-man army. So I can only do so much. And so, well, let me start from the beginning. This evening, I had to do a funeral service. So we did the funeral service. This woman was 104 years old. 104 years old, this woman. I was like, wow, dude, who lives to be 100 years old? Who lives to be 60? Who lives to be 70? Who lives to be 90 years old? Let alone 104 years old. This woman, 104 years old. The funeral director said she looked like she was 70. 70 years old. This woman, they said that she was all there for a 104-year-old woman. She was all there. She was able to walk and everything. Unfortunately, she fell down and she broke, her pelvis or her side. She had a surgery, but in the surgery and during her hospital stay, after that, like, she just didn't recuperate from that fall. 104 years old. If she had not fallen, can you imagine how much more she could have still gone? But she was all there. She was coherent, everything. Like, this woman was just a lot about, right? The service went well and stuff. So I do want to mention something that, because the way I am, my personality and stuff, I'm very like, hey, mama, sweetie, honey, but I don't do it to, like, that's my nature. Like, oh, yes, mama, yeah, no, 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 I felt like, it's all good, mama, that's the word mama, mamacita and stuff. I work with, at the funeral parlor where I'm at, I like it compared to the other funeral parlor I used to be at, which was more people. I work with an older lady, and she's like older lady, like old school. She goes, she goes, come here. I want to tell you, like, just, she goes, don't take it the wrong way. She goes, but I want to, like, just tell you, she's like, this service and the next service. We have another service on Friday, which is gonna be a man who passed away from a very popular restaurant in Guadalupe Street. There's an old school restaurant that's been around for years and years. I guess the original owner's son passed away. Like, how you pass it down on generation. So that's going to be a big service on Friday. She goes, this service today and Friday, she goes, if I may say, she goes, we're dealing with families. We're dealing with they're grieving. She goes, don't use the word mamacita. She goes, don't say mamacita, don't say mama to the family. I guess she saw me and that I do that with the other families that I deal with in the funeral service. It's a just natural thing I do. She goes, say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. Instead, I go, okay, I go, understood. She goes, please don't take it wrong. Understood. And normally I would be like, whatever. But I get it. Now in hindsight, like, yeah, you're dealing with each other. You don't know how they're feeling. And then they don't know you. Yes, they know you're the assistant, whatever and stuff, taking care of the services. But you calling them mama and whatever. I go, okay. Now this lady that I work with, she's way older than I am. I call her mama all the time. Hey, mama. Hey, whatever. I go, okay. I'm not going to say that to the family. I go, what about me calling you mama? Because I call her mama. She goes, honestly, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. She goes, I would rather, like, she goes, I don't like it because I'm old school. Like, I'm old school. But I was thinking, like, okay. I go, so what am I going to call you? Not what I'm going to call you, but the word mamacita is embedded in me, right? I go, I'm going to call you Miss, and her name. I don't want to say her name, but Miss. She goes, yes, call me Miss, my name. Okay, that's fine. Throughout the day, throughout the evening, doing the services, I was like, hey, mama, sorry, Miss, your name. So, I go, give me 24 hours at least. Give me a good 2 days to stop calling you mama. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So, blah, blah, blah. We did the service, and dealing with, again, and I'm mentioning this again and again, dealing with the fucking families, like, when I say fucking family, I don't mean like fucking families, no, but I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, like, we did the service and it was all good. And I was standing, towards the ending of the services, I was standing there, and there was, you could tell the services of this lady of 104 years old. She had, I read the obituary, she had 19 grandchildren, like 10 great-grandchildren, and about 2 great-great-grandchildren. Like, she's 104 years old, man. I was like, wow. So you could tell these people were not from Laredo. They were like white. They were not from Laredo. And I had seen one of the daughters who she was like a young kid. She was about maybe 11 years old. She was bawling her eyes at her. She was like crying. And the man, I stood by him, just in general. And he goes, does it ever get easy? Like, you doing this job, what you do? And I go, no, sir. I go, no, it doesn't. I go, it doesn't. And he is related to that lady, the 104-year-old lady. I don't know how, but apparently that's the great-great-grandchildren. I go, no, sir, it doesn't, and it never gets easy. Hard part is dealing with the families and having to deal with, whatever and stuff. He was like, man, I thank you guys for what you guys do. Thank you for the appreciation. Kind of like, I guess a cop, a firefighter and stuff. You thank them for what they do and stuff. So I was like, we were talking and blah, blah, blah and all that jazz, right? Cheers, guys, by the way. Cheers. I'm jamming out to some music. You guys can see I have my phone this way, so I'm jamming out to some music. So doing that, and as I'm cleaning throughout the night, we have to clean up and everything. As I'm cleaning, the my funeral director tells me, he's like, he messages me, hey, oh no, he called me, and he said, hey, Rose, we have a new client, and he was like, it was an unfortunate death. Can you go clean up the place, his house? I go, what happened? He goes, I'm gonna pass you the number to the person to speak to, and take it from there. Okay, but they're gonna have services obviously with us. Give me the information. Boom, boom. And I'm cleaning up, whatever. And I was supposed to go and see my grandson. Right after work from the funeral chapel, I was supposed to go see my grandson because I didn't know. I guess it was a happy Grandparents' Day. It's Grandparents' Day yesterday. And my grandson calls me and he's like, hey, happy Grandparents' Day. And I was like, huh? It was Grandparents' Day? He was like, yeah, I wanted to call you and this is my new phone. He's 11 years old and he just got a new phone. Oh, okay, mijito. That one, okay, whatever. I was like, let's go to a movie. Let's go see a movie or something. Okay? I wanted to take him to go see Beetlejuice. And he's like, I don't know what Beetlejuice is, but yeah, I'll go see it. I go, nah, I don't want you to be a poser. You ain't be no poser. I go, I want to see a movie that you know of and we can go together. Okay, Grandma. He goes, I have a gift for you. And, if you can, he lives with, right here, not far from me, my grandson. Not far at all. Literally walking distance, pretty much. Couple of blocks. I go, let me clean up, let me do what I'm doing, and I'll go and I'll drive by and I'll go and see you and I'll get my gift and give you a hug and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But right after that, my funeral director, my boss, calls me. Give me a minute, I'm going to get some salimon. My boss calls me and says, can you go do this new client's house? So I call the lady, the one I was supposed to call. And I go, okay, my name is Rose. I got recommended by, my boss's name and all that jazz. What's the issue? What happened? Stuff. Again, he was on dialysis and he bled to death in his restroom in the shower. How long has he been there? We just found him today. They saw him at 1 p.m. Yesterday, technically. And he didn't answer his phone by 5. Like the sisters saw him at 1, and they called him knowing he lives alone on dialysis. They called him at 5. He wasn't answering. So they came in. So then he had a 4-hour time when he passed. I guess he was in his restroom. Very nice house. This man. I guess I don't know what happened. I can only surmise, but I guess he started bleeding and in the sink of the restroom, and he went to his walk-in shower, and that's where he ended up just bleeding out from what happened. So I get the information, whatever. I clean up the parlor, and I tell the older lady, like, hey, ma'am, mama, hey, miss, your name. I'm like, I gotta go ahead and clean up a location right now. Okay, yeah. I don't like to leave the older lady alone. When it's me and her doing the party together, if I finish first, I could easily leave. I punch out and leave, but I don't like to leave her alone in the funeral parlor by herself. So I wait for her, okay, whatever. We clock out together. And then I walk around, okay, and besos, always a pleasure to work with you and see you when I see you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, come on, I have to go to this fucking job, right? I end up going, and the girl I was dealing with, she tells me that one of the nieces ended up cleaning up a lot of the stuff that was there, and I was like, okay, well, the family shouldn't have to deal with that. You shouldn't have to clean up that. You shouldn't have to even look at that. at all whatsoever, man. That's what you call the professionals. You call people like me and stuff. Give me a minute. Let me take this off. So they try to clean up as the best they could and stuff. So with that being said, I get there. I analyze the situation. It's a good thing that they found him within 4 hours. 4 hours max. They found him. So I do the cleanup, and it just goes back to just like thinking about like, wow, like I deal with death all the time. Every time I work is when there's death, you know. Yes, I do other jobs on the side and stuff. I'm a caption call agent, but I was like, I got there and in his restroom, and I could smell the blood. Like I had two masks on. I was covered like two masks on, and with my gear all set up and stuff like that. And you can smell the iron of the blood, you know. And I was like, it's better than decomp. I'll tell you that. It's way better. I'll take that any time than decomp. So I'm like, I don't know. I speak to she was a very young girl. I spoke to her and I was like, I'll give you the price later on. You know, let me do my situation and everything. I'm gonna leave as is, whatever. Like I'm not gonna touch nothing, but I'm gonna throw away a lot of stuff that's contaminated. Like as I was speaking to her, I could see, I guess the sprouting out of the blood, like you know, like I could spot like the small spot. I was just like, so I'm looking at her. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. So I was already analyzing what I had to do, but I was speaking to her, and I was like, okay, do. The older two sisters of this man were there in the living room, and I was dealing with a young girl. So I gave her equipment. I gave her the foot gear to put on because she was walking around the area. I go, put on this foot gear, please, you know, just because, you know, so you don't track more blood around the house. I do the job, and the older two sisters, they're there, and as I'm doing my job, okay, whatever, I go, I'm gonna close the door because they were in the living room, and I'm in the restroom. He had a nice his room and a walk-in restroom, walk-in shower, walk-in closet. I go, I'm gonna close the door, and if I need you, I'll tell the young girl. I go, I'll call you if I need you. Just say, hey, can I throw this away, or this is, you know, whatever, just to analyze. And doing that, these ladies, the sisters, there were those. I don't want to say those, but they were older. Obviously, this man was older. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know his name or nothing. I just went to go clean up the situation. But there were those ladies that were old. We all get old, man. We're all fucking Rolling Stones. We're all Rolling Stones. Ya estamos Rolling Stones, way. There were those days they'd sit on the sofa, like, and one of them, she got up and she was, you know, like hunchback, you know, kind of like this, like whatever. And I was like, ma'am, again, please don't worry about it. Don't try to come to me and tell me that. I said, no. I go, we have Ashley, the young girl. I go, she'll handle it, you know. Ma'am, please sit down, like please, you know, it's hard enough. This is your brother who passed away. Those ladies that they need palomitas, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, man, I'm so glad that they were the ones that hey, I saw you at 1 p.m. and by 5 p.m. you didn't answer my fucking phone call. You didn't message me. You go and they found him. They found him. That's how it should be. So you can have an open casket and not have to go straight to cremation because you were found 5 days later. And shit like that. Like for reals. I do my job. There was a bunch of little detail specks, like specks everywhere. Again, I guess it's from the sprouting out, you know. I can only surmise. I don't know. And I did that. And then I was like, I have to. The hard part, believe it or not, the hard part is having to try to console the family. console the family and say, like grievances for your loss and for what happened, grievances. And you see the people, and you see their faces, and you see it, like, and like I want to hug you, but I can't because I'm contaminated. I have my gear on, my gloves, my mask, my eye gear, everything. I'm like a spaceman walking. So I did all of that, and I gave him the price. Right? And I go, you know what? I'm gonna trust you guys. I go, you don't have, because they were old school. The sisters were old school, so they don't do Cash App. I do Cash App or cash or give me a check. I don't do swiping cards like Venmo or whatever. I don't do the card swipes. And they were like, we don't do Cash App, like whatever. I go, you know what? I can do cash or I can do a check. You decide. I go, let's do it this way. Today is Sunday. By Wednesday, pay me by Wednesday. I mean, obviously, I'm supposed to services rendered, get my money. But I go by. It so happened. I don't want to say much, but it just so happened that they're trustworthy. Let's put it that way. These people are trustworthy, without me saying much. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna change this commercial. Give me 1 second. I do apologize for the inconvenience. Oh my God, all these commercials. So I go, by Wednesday, you guys can pay me. Because family members were going to come from out of town to situate the issue, like, everything. I go, by Wednesday, we can decide what's going to happen, where you pay me at and stuff. I did that, and afterwards, it's a long day. Like, I did a funeral service, I dealt with that death, and then I cleaned up a unfortunate accident. He just bled out, man. He bled out. I don't know what happened, but he bled out. And so I'm driving home. Gonna go home, but I ended up going to a classic tavern bar. I went there and I had a couple of cocktails and stuff, and then again, I'm drinking my little drinky here and stuff. So I don't know. It just dawns on me, like, being what I do and all of that stuff. I don't know, man. It's bizarre. It's fucking weird. The shit I fucking do. And I come home alone. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm not married. I don't have a husband or nothing like that. I come home alone, so I just do what I do and stuff. And when I wake up, I'm like, thank you. I'm like, good morning, world. How are we doing? Let's kick the world in the ass. I do that, and I don't know. I guess I'm being a Sunday Funday soggy day. Sogginess. It's not so much soggy. It's what I fucking do, and I have to just comprehend it. Ever since I was young, I always was into, since I was like 15, 14, into reading about true crime, serial killers, and I read every freaking book and all of that jazz. And I end up ultimately writing to Charlie Manson. And speaking of Charles Manson, writing to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I never spoke to him because he was on death row, and I guess he couldn't get phone calls, or if he did, it wasn't with me. Having his letters, and then I started. I wrote to some youngling now. He's called the Purge Killer. The Purge Killer. I guess the movie The Purge. He went and did The Purge, and he killed 3 people. This guy and stuff. And I have a couple of letters from him as well and stuff. I don't glorify it. I don't at all. I'll speak about Charlie Manson and my connection with him. As far as when I say connection, I don't mean like, I was part of the family or nothing, But I'll do a Charlie Manson, and I'll show the letters and everything eventually. But I was just always interested in, like, forensic science, and like being a psychologist, the interviewer, like you interview these people and stuff, I was always into that. But I end up years and years and years later, I end up being a crime scene cleanup technician and a funeral director's assistant, So it's kind of like the same. Again, I don't see the bodies, guys. I don't see the bodies. I'm like, There's something I do want to say. Yeah. Okay, look, it's so... maybe I shouldn't say it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that one out. I'm gonna cut that out. Sepultura, I love them. Yes, so sweet, I love it. Okay. Anyways, blah blah blah. I'm gonna cut this in a little bit. I'm gonna keep rambling on and keep rambling on and keep rambling on. But yeah, I did a double shift. I didn't know, that I was gonna do that. But in a way, it's kind of good because I needed that money. The money I made tonight, well, I'm gonna collect on Wednesday. That's gonna pay my light, my gas, and my water. No, my internet, my gas, and my water. Like, thank you, blessings, blessings, thank you. But it comes with a kind of like a hardship, if that makes any sense. And at this point, I don't even care. Like, like I'm tired. I did a pop-up shop last night, or the night before, technically, Saturday. I did a pop-up shop, and then go to work on Sunday at 3 p.m. till 9:30, and then boom, from 9 till 11, I cleaned up this man's unfortunate passing, of the situation, and then I went to a bar, and then I'm drinking and stuff, and so yeah. That was it, and that's my rambling for Sunday, Funday. So blah blah blah. I guess I have no other stories to tell. Do I have any stories? Not yet, my lovers. Not yet. I just don't care right now. Like how I look, like I'm just like ugh. Like whatever. I'm not gonna be worrying about how I look. Oh my god, these commercials suck balls. Shut up. Okay. So I'm gonna enjoy me a couple of cocktails. Then I'm gonna clean up my house. I just loaded up all my stuff. I decontaminate myself. I already did, but yeah. So there we go again. What's the weakness, man?